If you look deep into the Project 2025, there's a lot of policies towards Black people when it comes to jobs, education, that they're getting rid of, right? So at least right now, I can say, like, you can't do this, you can't do that. Once Project 25 is enacted, all those policies are gone for Black people that we put into place that our ancestors fought for. So it's like, I'd rather be in a world where at least there's some laws that allows me to apply for college, that gives my children a chance, the fairness to go to schools and stuff that they want to go to versus like not having an opportunity at all.
Trump get elected? You think all those are going to pass?
All of what is going to pass?
Project 25.
Of course, that's the whole
You
point.
really think all of that is going to pass if Trump get elected?
Yes.
I don't think
so.
But
I don't think so.
If you look deep,
organization regrets the announcement that the United States of America intends to withdraw from the organization. WHO plays a crucial role in protecting the health and security of the world's people, including Americans, by addressing the root causes of disease, building stronger health systems, and detecting, preventing, and responding to health emergencies, including disease outbreaks, and often in dangerous places where others cannot go. The United States was a founding member of WHO in 1948 and participated in shaping and governing WHO's work ever since, alongside 193 other member states, including through its active participation in the World Health Assembly and Executive Board. For over 7 decades, WHO and the United States of America have saved countless lives and protected Americans and all people from health threats. Together, we ended smallpox, and together we have brought polio to the brink of eradication. American institutions have contributed to and benefited from membership in WHO. With the participation of the United States and other member states, WHO has, over the past 7 years, implemented the largest set of reforms in its history to transform our accountability, cost effectiveness, and impact in countries. This work continues. We hope the United States will reconsider, and we look forward to engaging in constructive dialogue to maintain the partnership between the United States of America and WHO for the benefit of the health and well-being of millions of people around the globe.
I legitimately almost feel bad for anybody who allowed themselves to get fooled by this guy. Look what Trump just posted on the Truth Social. The United States military just entered the great state of California and, under emergency powers, turned on the water flowing abundantly from the Pacific Northwest and beyond. The days of putting a fake environmental argument over the people are over. Enjoy the water, California. It rained. It rained. I legitimately
Good morning, and welcome to another edition of You Messed Around and Found Out. It's let it be known. Every single day, it gets worse. Yesterday, today is worse than yesterday. Tomorrow's going to be worse than today under this so-called administration. You saw those videos. Like, I was having difficulties seeing it, but and then, yeah, Mike V, it's only been 1 week and it feels like 4 years already. But here's something else this morning. Just in, the administration is halting all federal funds, grants, financial assistance, and everything else, which I will say, because it's true, it's against the law, because these are acts passed by Congress, including the Inflation Reduction Act. But again, Scott doesn't have to go by the law, and he's not going to go by the law. The Office of Management and Budget announced that all federal agencies are forced to suspend payments, and there is there is a word in the order. There are words in the order that say this is to help in programs and of course DE&I, but to stop all this quote wokeness. So in other words, again, the misunderstanding that black people and other minorities, the misrepresentation that they are the ones who depend more on government handouts, if you will, as they want to call it, subsidies, are going to be hurt the most. But it tells you the mindset. Senator Chuck Schumer, the minority leader, calls it more lawlessness and chaos. But they are not going to fund what Congress passed, which is the Inflation Reduction Act, as I said, the bipartisan infrastructure package. And so they're doing whatever the heck they want to do. And so you go ahead, you do your marches, you do whatever. They're doing what until everyone gets serious and start banding together. As I said yesterday, this guy is going to literally. He said it when he first ran in 2016 that if he shot somebody on Fifth Avenue, there would be no consequences. Bobby Kogan, who worked at the White House budget office during Biden's administration, sums it up best. One quote, one sentence, quote, "This is as bad as we thought it would be." It's as simple as that. And there is no one or nothing to stop him. So yeah, I want to continue to these folks who still want to continue to tell you that that you have no reason to be upset that a 34 times convicted felon is in the office with a platform of revenge, with a platform. He is now investigating. He announced yesterday, his people announced yesterday they're investigating all of the folks, the prosecutors who investigated and prosecuted him. And even if they didn't prosecute him, but they took part in the investigation. And here again, where Joe Biden fell short, those folks, including the special counsel, especially the special counsel, should have received the also preemptive pardons. They are going after them. A lot of them are hiring lawyers themselves. Lawyers are hiring lawyers. Is it all doom and gloom? Right now it is. Right now it is. This guy is unhinged. Unhinged. And there's nothing to stop. Nothing to stop him. No one to stop him. Austin says he warned us what he would do. Absolutely. But 77.3 million people said this is what we want. And there was a poll yesterday I saw too that was very interesting out of Great Britain that showed that majority of Generation Z, it said Generation Z. So I always get confused with the X's, the Z's, what it stands for, and all that stuff. But Generation Z said that for the majority of Generation Z in Great Britain said they would welcome a dictator or a dictatorship. And frightening, just as frightening. That same poll showed that the elderly in Great Britain said that they, for the most part, I think it was like a 48% of them or 40-something% of them said they wouldn't mind a dictator. That's about where things stand because again, these are laws that whether a president has liked certain laws, especially when they took office, there was nothing they could do about it except to urge the current Congress to pass a law to usurp the law. Y'all have taken civics or some sort of version of civics, and you know how it works, the branches of government. But this is what I kept saying, and others, I was not just me, but there were others saying the same thing, like, stop saying what he can't do. Stop saying it. This is all last year before, during the campaigns. Stop saying what he can't do and what he won't do. There are some people who simply have no bottom. And we can talk about, we can listen to people like Stephen A. Smith and them say, oh, he was this way and this and that, and they that. No, you have to have been that way from the start. And this guy and the people around him, the closest people to, are as evil as you would imagine that any human being or human beings can be. These are the type of people that would see a 96-year-old woman with a cane walking across the street, and they would, just out of fun, would hit her with a car and keep going and back up over her, and just for laughs. This is the very definition of evil. These are evil, evil, evil people. But then the world is full of evil people now. Maybe that's what it is. And then you bring out the fact that this guy has pardoned people who attack cops. That's the surprising part of it, right? Um, it wasn't just civilians. It wasn't civilians. It was cops. This is a guy who, law and order. This is a guy who says, and he's gonna get to this part too. It's been a week, like someone says, feels like 4 years, but this is a guy who says he's gonna start ordering cops to shoot people suspected of looting, or the other word, stealing. Shoot them in the streets. He's gonna get to that. You know that. There's nothing that he said that he was going to do that he's not going to do. So if you're into applauding somebody who sticks to their guns, then go ahead and applaud that. But even those who who have supported this are feeling the heat. And again, we keep saying it. Unless you're a billionaire, you're gonna feel it. Unless you're one of the billionaire buddies, unless you have some pull like Elon Musk, the co-president. RG says the U.S. Supreme Court made him a king and a dictator in one decision. He will never be held accountable for crimes. Absolutely. I said it the other day, like even his family. With Eric Trump making that post and then deleting it. Why he deleted it was beyond me. I mean, dude, you are as immune. You remember they used to make you could watch TV shows and they would see these diplomats commit crimes and they say diplomatic immunity. There's no more immune person or people than the Trump family. They cannot commit crimes. At least they can't be held accountable if they decide to commit crimes or when they commit crimes. And those close to those January 6s, you saw the, I guess in Trump's mind, the unintended consequences. One of the folks he pardoned got in trouble and right away and was killed by law enforcement. Isn't that interesting? So it is the United Chaos of America. And it is a desire for Jim Crow all over again. And they working at it one step at a time. Project 2025 in full effect. Yeah, and that right there. He blames other countries for sending us criminals, and then he pardons 1,500 actual criminals. Violent criminals. A lady who supported him lost her life in the Capitol. Now, it was her fault. you committing a crime and this happens, you really have nobody to blame but your crazy decision making. Um, the Crew Kids Table, New York. It's where we at. So anyway, it's gonna be quite the ride, folks. Quite the ride. Yes, in South Carolina. I don't know if you guys, ladies, women's basketball is back in full effect. And what's concerning right now about the women's basketball is that it's not yet, and maybe it's early, but and I'm talking about collegiate. Of course, the WNBA is not back yet, but I'm talking about collegiate. They're back, and totally froze. I totally froze. Uh, but what's interesting is that they're not getting the attention yet, but now because of this crazy incident in South Carolina, um, the athletic department there is apologizing to LSU women's basketball star Flau'jae Johnson and her family. What happened was unforgivable. The DJ at the arena played a song by her late father during South Carolina's win against LSU. In a statement, South Carolina described the song choice as inappropriate and revealed the DJ, who is known as DJ T.O., has been suspended for the Gamecocks' next home game. They said in a statement her actions were understandably upsetting to Flau'jae Johnson and her family and disrespectful to the LSU program and fans. South Carolina continued their statement by saying conference rivalries and passionate fan bases should only serve to enhance sports, not be used to target individual players personally. We regret that it came to that in our venue after a game that saw both teams capture the level of national attention that women's basketball has earned. In that game, number 2 South Carolina did defeat number 5 LSU. It was at that point the most anticipated game of the season, but after the game went final was the problem. DJ T.O. played an instrumental version of Cut Friends, which was a song by Flau'jae's dad, Jason, who was a rapper known by the name of Camouflage. Um, Jason Johnson was shot and killed back in May of 2003, which was 6 months before Flau'jae was born. Flau'jae went on social media to talk about the situation, and the DJ did apologize and then posted something on Instagram herself saying, uh, uh, "My bad," regarding the song choice. The DJ said it was never my intent to disrespect anyone or offend anyone. The song makes reference to someone being shot and killed, which is the fate of Flau'jae's dad. And so that was just, I couldn't have that DJ back. If you really want to be serious, you couldn't. That DJ has to go. 1 game suspension is just, I don't think it's good enough. I don't think it's good enough. She's got to go. So there you have it. RNG says, I remember her father so well. He was stationed in Hinesville, Georgia. He was stationed in, RNG was stationed in Hinesville, Georgia when her father was murdered. A young, talented brother gone too soon. That DJ needs to be fired. I agree. I just think that went way across the line. I mean, we get the, you taunt the other side, you you do whatever. But this was after the game, a game in which Flau'jae's team had lost. So your team won. It's just like these guys that we're talking about with the Trump administration. You think that they lost. They behave as if they lost the election. They are so angry. And for this DJ to do that, I mean, whether win or lose or draw, you can't do that. That was horrible, and you felt bad for Flau'jae. She's playing a sport. She's doing her best. She's one of the best there is. And to get this is crazy. It would be tantamount. You remember when Michael Jordan's father was killed? On the side of the road? And it'd be tantamount to him going into Detroit or another arena and they, um, playing a song that celebrates his father's death to try and intimidate him. That's horrible. That's a low life move right there. It's, and speaking of low lives, we're gonna stay in the South, but turn our attention to Texas. A teacher sparked some outrage after calling for ICE officials to raid their school, claiming many little kids. We're talking about pupils, little kids. We're not talking about middle school or high school. He claimed that many of them don't even speak English. It was at the Fort Worth Independent School District. And this is a substitute teacher too, who was working at Northside High School. And they're using they won't identify this teacher yet, and they won't say whether the teacher's male or female. So they're using the pronoun they. Allegedly posted a raft of inflammatory comments on X after Donald Trump announced his immigration crackdown. The suspect responded to an ICE enforcement update on X, reporting 538 arrests and an additional 373 illegal migrants in the country. Under the account at Hook M 232, which has since been made private. So now he or she is hiding. And so he goes, y'all should come to Fort Worth, Texas, to Northside High School. Now, these apparently the information I got seems to conflict a little bit though, because they said these were small kids, and then there are other reports to say that this, like we said, Northside High School. So if it is a high school, these are not necessarily small kids. So it would be bad information on my part to say that they were small kids, but they're still teenagers, young kids. And he or she says, I have many students who don't even speak English. They have to communicate through their iPhone translator with me. The U.S. Department of Education should totally overhaul our school system in Texas, too. Trump signed a deluge of executive orders, related to immigration due to an unconscionable risk to public safety and national security. The risk that they have created, they've made you believe, they've made some even Hispanic and Black people believe that there's a problem with immigrants. This is what they do. They put it in your mind, and they the substitute. Okay, Austin has done some homework and found out that the teacher's name is Jason Buchanan. Jason Buchanan, who hid behind a Twitter handle of at Hook EM232. Hookem232. And this same substitute teacher condemned a teacher in North Carolina who had said that they were going to continue to recognize DE&I So this teacher decides he's going to call ICE on children. It's low life. It's low life behavior. It's low life attitude, mentality, and it's just a low life situation when you. RNG says we are Latinos for Trump. They said only criminals were going to be deported. Another lie from Massa Trump. Yeah, it is. Yeah, Selena Gomez. Now you got a senator saying that they need to deport her and wants to make moves to see that they're checking her now to see if she's a citizen, because now they're pushing to deport Selena Gomez because of her teary post about deportations, and so they want to deport her. She deleted her post, by the way, Selena Gomez. I don't know if you all had seen or heard about it, but she was breaking down in tears, saying that she didn't know all this was going to really happen, and some of her people that she knows and people from her country are being deported and kicked out of the country. And she was in tears, crying profusely. Is what I'm trying to say. And they are Tom Homan, the Homeland Security guy in the Trump administration, lashed out at her as well, saying she should be crying for these people who are victims of these criminals, as they call them. And as we outlined yesterday, there have never been any proof. Everybody of every nationality, people of every nationality, let me say it that way. That's the right way to say it. People of every nationality, of every background, have committed crimes in this country, whether they're Latino, Black, white, Asian, etc., etc., etc. There is no mass crimes being committed by immigrants. It's as simple as that. This is all about taking over and making sure, and this is abortion, everything ties in, making sure that this country remains majority white, and is also making sure that this country stays under the control of white males, the true DE&I folks, the true DE&I hires. And that's all it's about. They're afraid of that so-called coming year of 2040 or whatever it is, in which by that time, according to the Census Bureau, this will be a majority minority country. They also are horrified, folks, of these social media posts where you got the white women doing what the black women doing, twerking and stuff, and the Latino women, white women messing with black women, men having black babies. Call it what it is. That's what it's about.
So it's like I'd rather be in a world where at least there's some laws that allows me to apply for college, that gives my children a chance, the fairness to go to schools and stuff that they want to go to, versus like not having an opportunity at all.
Trump get elected. You think all those are going to pass?
All of what is going to pass?
Project 25.
Of course, that's the whole
You really
point.
think all of that is going to pass if Trump get elected?
Yes.
I don't think so.
But
I don't think so.
If you look deep into the
Ignorance is not bliss. It's just not. That video right there proved it. If you had any doubts, it proved it. Ignorance is not bliss. I don't think it's going to pass. The guy got elected. It's 2025, folks. It's Project 2025. Everything you're seeing is Project 2025. Folks tried to warn you, and then they sitting on the the ignorance of it. I don't think it's going to pass. What's got to pass? What's pass what? What are you thinking? This is like it's going through Congress, and the Congress is going to debate whether to implement 2025. It's implemented. In fact, it was being implemented before he even got in office. That's what Roe v. Wade was about. That's what affirmative action was about. The Fearless Fund. That's what all that was. And that was during the Biden administration. These decisions, the decision that made him king, same thing. That was 2025, Project 2025. Yeah, they didn't think he was going to do any of this stuff. And he's like, I can show you better than I can tell you. Because he's done it immediately. And as I said at the top, every day is worse. So what? It's 8:04 a.m. on the East Coast right now. So we got a full day ahead of us. It's already started out worse than yesterday. So that means he's got a number of hours left in today to make it even worse. And believe me, the mad scientist has got his little crystal ball or whatever, and he's playing with it and saying, how can I screw people's day up even further? You gotta be kidding me. Yeah, RNG says, I bet they waiting for a stimmy check. Anybody question Sexy Red about that? Anybody question her about that? She waiting for a stimmy check? For her people? Florida and Alabama, according to Mike V, were enacting Project 2025 before he got into office at the state level. 25 states in all were enacting Project 2025 before he got into office. 25. Including Florida and Alabama, as Mike V said. It's just, and here we are. Here we are. I got and I'm gonna switch gears because I got this an interesting email this morning from Harvard University. I wrote a story yesterday about them terminating staff that contributed to the research component of its slavery remembrance program, and here's what I found it very, very interesting. Race is gonna race. Is that how you say it? And they say stuff that they believe doesn't come off as racist. Sarah from the Harvard Media Relations team, Sarah E. Kennedy O'Reilly. That's as a Harvard as a name as you're gonna get. Sarah E. Kennedy O'Reilly. I'm reaching out with a few concerns about your story. And it comes down to one concern. Given that, this is exactly what she wrote. Given that the mention of the descendant research continuing under American Ancestors, keep that in mind. American Ancestors is the new name. Is 11 paragraphs into your story, we are concerned that the readers might believe that the descendant research is being discontinued. So she wants to restructure. She wants me to restructure my story to put at the top of the story that the descendant research program is not being discontinued. Now, she's 100% correct that down low in the story, it does mention that it's continuing, but it's continuing under their guise. It was called the Slavery Remembrance Program. So in effect, they have ended the Slavery Remembrance Program, and they've recast it now to comply with their boss, Mr. Trump, and call it the the Descendants Program, or whatever Sarah O'Reilly Kennedy wants to refer to it as, descendant research. So they have left employees without notice about the institution's commitment to its $100 million Harvard and the Legacy of Slavery Initiative. Because remember, a few years ago, like everybody else, oh, we came to this racial reckoning, and we understand that Harvard was complicit in the slave trade. This was after George Floyd was murdered. And we would like to do something about it. Of course, Gates, Henry Louis Gates is over there. But we'd like to do something about it. And again, that moment passed. It has passed. And now they can care less. They can care less. It's as simple as that. But they're getting a lot of incoming from mostly Black folks and historians. Because of their decision. And this program was supposed to, and according to Sarah Kennedy O'Reilly, it still is going to address Harvard's extensive entanglements with slavery. Including how Harvard enslaved over 70 Black folks and how they benefited financially from slavery-related industries, and how they upheld these racial hierarchies. A guy named Richard Salini, who was the program's director, was fired after he reportedly challenged the university's administration for allegedly interfering with the research's scope. So they was meddling in the research because they apparently didn't like what they were finding out about themselves. So so Harvard, you know what? Shove it. In New York, a state trooper, and this is the norm too. This is absolutely the norm as well, and this is also something that we've always seen, and we will continue to see even more probably. A state trooper who claimed to have been shot in the line of duty back in October by who he described as a Black guy, or he could be Hispanic. He's now facing criminal charges for having allegedly staged the shootings. Thomas Massia, yeah, there you go. Great picture. We need to even blow it up even more. Surrendered to the police on Monday. He faces charges of official misconduct, falsely reporting a crime, and tampering with evidence. Nassau County District Attorney Ann Donnelly said that this officer Massia, Trooper Massia, could face up to 3 years in prison for what she calls the unconscionable deception. She says he knew the fear that it would create, and he did it anyway. And here's the icing on the cake. Little punk got his parents involved, and now they're in trouble. Now they're in trouble. Dorothy and Thomas, his mom and dad, had to surrender to police too on charges of criminal possession of a firearm and aiding and abetting. They was helping their son. Massive, and so the firearm, adding to the father's charges, was the fact that he himself, the father, is a convicted felon, which makes it illegal for him to own a gun in New York. His father, and they say that like father, like son. Well, his father was a former New York City Police Department officer, and he was fired from the force way back in 1993 over accusations, get this, of running a cocaine ring. these guys became cops to further their criminal enterprise, it seems like. And they also found evidence or circumstantial evidence that apparently they might still be running some sort of drug ring or whatever. They found in cash in the family's home when they went in to raid the house and arrest this cop and his family. $800,000 in cash. $800,000 in cash. Just about the amount of money that Orrin G keeps under his mattress. I think he probably keeps like 799,000. But 800,000 in cash. All three of them were released on their own recognizance. But the incident with Trooper Massia happened back in Hempstead. If it's Long Island, folks, for those who might not be familiar with New York. And Hempstead is like right there, right after Queens. You got a couple of little towns, but Hempstead is like the big town after. Nonetheless, it happened there, and he initiated a radio transmission for shots fired. He then claimed he was shot by a driver of a black Dodge Charger. Said the guy was black, or I think he's black. He's dark skinned, maybe Hispanic. So he staged the scene of the shooting. He placed shell casings on the ground, but he did that like hours earlier too. They found out. He shot himself in the leg in another location. Then he went to return to the location where he staged the scene. And what followed is what you would expect when a police officer is reportedly shot. They shut down the parkway over there. They went door to door. They harassed people. It was everyone, all hands on deck. Cop shot. How many people got harassed? Many of them. Orange says he's offering tax loan advances while you wait on your refund. Come see Orange. His interest rate is only, he says, only quote 25%. It's and look, he charges his son 35%, so he's right. He's cutting the interest rate down to 25% for you. Those take advantage of his offer if you will. Yep. 3 years is crazy. He definitely needs longer. 3 years. He's up to 3 years, meaning that he won't do any time. He will get probation or something like that. Empress says that there was probably more money. Yeah, probably. 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 But this is your New York State trooper, folks. This isn't your New York State trooper. And by the way, as Orange G mentioned in his earlier comments, opening statements are expected today in the former Brunswick, Georgia District Attorney Jackie Johnson case. She is charged with obstruction of justice and violating her oath of office. You know that case comes from her actions after Ahmaud Arbery was shot to death while jogging in Georgia in February of 2020. And you remember how much of that case would never have been brought. Keep freezing up, am I? That case would never have been brought if they didn't take a video themselves. And so they are going to prosecute this district attorney. Anyway, folks, I would assume you could still hear me. I don't know if you can see me. I can't see myself. But that case is going to trial now, so we'll stay up to date on that. I would imagine she'll ask for some sort of presidential pardon. It is a federal case. Isn't it a federal case? What's a local case? Obstruction of justice violating her oath of office. Could be a local case. Could be a local case. But nonetheless, I would expect some sort of pardon. So we will see. We will see. But all of this, thanks, Andrea Williams. Andrea Williams. He says, stop with the Andrea and Andrea stuff. Andrea sounds like trying to be like British or something, right? She's Empress says troops are police are just gangs. They are not law-abiding citizens. RNG says that she'll have to explain the 30 phone calls between her and the killers. It's a state case. Yeah, exactly. So we will see. We will see where that goes. So, but folks, strap in. It's been a long week, and so we can only see clearly what's in store coming up for the next 4 years. As that song says, you can see clearly. There's no, this guy says he Trump says he sent the troops over to California. Now there's water. This guy.
And you are watching Forgotten Kings TV. That's right, Forgotten Kings.
Comedian DL Hughley responds to Snoop Dogg finally addressing the backlash after performing at Donald Trump's crypto ball event last week. That's right, y'all. Now, of course, as we all know, a lot of people have taken
Again, Snoop has not directly addressed why he did it, and he's not. He's shown that he's not, at least for now. And he's happy with, he's fine with his Empress. Just say Drea. He's fine with his decision. He's happy with it. He's okay with it anyway. So it's whatever. At least he didn't go crashing out like Nelly and Soulja Boy. I mean, they just totally crashed out. I give him that much. And at least a part of that, if it wasn't just for money, part of that was about Harry O. And back in 2020, Trump pardoned Harry O. And again, let's face it, Harry O was convicted of selling drugs to his community. So I don't know that that's something to really be overly excited about, that he got a pardon. But that's just the way it is. RNG says he should have kept quiet. Snoop should have kept quiet. And there you have it. I just think that these entertainers, folks, I think they have finally had their run when it comes to politics. No one, sellouts, Empress says, no one, I believe, going forward will be influenced in any way by an entertainer when they're making their choices. And as you shouldn't. You shouldn't. But I think that hard lessons were learned in November, and even harder lessons are being learned now and will continue to be learned over the next 4 years. And the Snoop Dogs and the rest of them probably have lost whatever juice they may have had, whatever influence they may have had over a large constituents of folks, and they should never have had that type of power anyway. Folks need to stop with the idolization of these extremely flawed human beings, and that's just the bottom line. Cut it out. Grow up. Get your life. I am not and have never idolized anyone. Never. I enjoy folks, their craft, but there's a line. You ain't gonna tell me go do this, and I'm gonna just go do it because you said do it. I ain't gonna. There's a lot of people I like. I don't buy all their products. It's like it's not for me. I mean, come on. I like Rihanna. I'm not buying her lingerie for me. I mean, come on.
Music was grown people's music. You know, it's like Ozzy Brothers, Temptations, Last Night in the Pips, Four Tops, Curtis Mayfield, Aretha Franklin, James Brown. That level was high. That level is unprecedented, man. Dead or alive, right? And here comes this kid with his brothers that sound like they can hang with that. We were there when Michael Jackson emerged like a comet out of another galaxy, and we couldn't explain him at all.
You know, I always said that. See, Chuck, it was so great when we sat down with Chuck for this program. Chuck said what I've always said. I've had the opportunity to say that to them themselves, the Jacksons themselves, many times. We've had discussions, but the one thing I've always, despite whatever shortcomings, I've always given Jermaine and Tito, the late great Tito, and Jackie and Marlon, and even Randy credit for is the fact that they were able to be on stage with the best and hang with him. And that, to me, will always be something that they have to hang their hats on. You can say what you want. You know, I've been very critical of the Jackson brothers, but you could say what you want about them. They did it with the best.
Michael Jackson.
And so today at 6 o'clock on Let It Be Known, we're going to bring you some discussions about Michael Jackson 1, the Las Vegas show. That is it's really a great show. So check it out and tell us what you think. Give us your comments. Join us at 6 o'clock. Spread the word. Let it be known as a presentation, including, as you see, the one and only our friend, our guy, Chuck D. So check it out. We'll see you then.